training your first three clients and how you can actually do it in 30 days. I've been a coach and a business mentor now for 3 years, and I see the same struggles happening time and time again for people when they first start their business and sign in their clients. There's a huge amount of noise out there, whether it be online, whether it be, in your other networking groups, or, chatting to other people. And the noise can actually complicate the situation and actually distract you from what you can really do to get clients. So I'm going to walk you through that today. I have 100% success rate with my clients getting clients. How many people can say that? I can boldly say that. And I'm going to give you some examples because I learned the hard way of what not to do. And the things that were working, I started avoiding them at the very beginning because it was like, well, it can't be that simple. Or I'd make up other excuses and other reasons as to why it wouldn't work. And I want to walk you through all that today so that you don't have to go through the same thing. So I'm just going to give you some examples of results that some of my clients have got. I had a brand new coach earlier this year. In fact, it was only 3 months ago. She's a mindset coach, and she took on her first 6 clients within 6 weeks of working together. That's amazing. They're high ticket clients. I had another lady who took on 2 clients in her first 2 weeks and now has consistent recurring 2K income on top of all the other income that's coming in too. But this is recurring income, so it's consistent. So she knows consistently each month that's going to be 2K coming in. How cool is that? It's pretty cool, right? So all of this is very, very doable. And I'm like, if right now you're like, maybe you don't have your business yet and you're like, I want to kick off 2023 with my coaching business, or maybe you have had your business for a while, but you haven't seen any clients, what I'm about to share with you works. But I want you to know it's okay if you've been struggling. It's totally fine. It is totally fine because a lot of people have been there. And it's actually normally the thoughts that are in our mind stop us from getting the results that we want. And like people as well find selling quite daunting. It's usually because people associate selling like with, that real hardcore, as I always say, like, have you ever seen Matilda, right? So, her dad, right? I always think that was how I used to see selling, as being like Matilda's dad. It's not like that at all. Selling is actually about building relationships. And when you can make that connection and make that happen and work for you, you will see sales happen an awful lot easier. But it's getting to reframe your thoughts that really matters. So, like, some of the thoughts that you might have could be, sure, I am still working on myself. How on earth could I support anybody else? A big one at the moment is nobody is spending money. Nobody has the money to spend. I'm hearing this consistently. But if that was true, none of us would have businesses. But we do. So it's not true. And you have to remember, you're not going to be focusing on the people that can't afford you right now. You're going to be focusing on the people that can. So these are like little shifts that you can make instantly that will create different results for you. But before we go into the 3 ways that I'm going to give you that you can find and sign your clients, 3 clients in the next 30 days. Yes, again, I'm making that bold claim because I see my clients do it all the time. But there's 3 A's that I want you to be really conscious of, and they're necessary for you to be able to see success. So the first one is awareness. The second one is acceptance. And the third one is action. So my clients get taught this constantly. If it's not brought up in a session, we're doing something wrong, because I gave you some examples there of some thoughts that might be going through your head. Like, the cost of living crisis is one thing that people are talking about constantly at the moment. And I shared this story. God, it happened during the summertime, but I want to share it with you now just to give you an idea that people don't actually think about what they say. And the media is like drumming stuff into our heads. But what is the connection, and what is your actual reality? And what is the reality of the people around you versus what you're being told? So I was out for lunch with some friends of mine there during the summer. And as normal, like, the cost of living crisis came up. But in the exact same conversation, as we were talking about the cost of living crisis and how nobody had money, my friend was talking about how she spent €200 on her hair, how she had booked a luxury weekend away for her and her husband, and how they were spending a week away this week in Thailand. And I was like, okay, but you've just said that people don't have money, but yet you've just talked about all the money that you're spending. So I just want you to think of that and bring awareness to it. So if you have thoughts around money that are stopping you from bringing in clients, if you think clients don't have money, if you think it's Christmas time or it's end of year, nobody's going to be spending money, which is interesting because a lot of my clients actually made an awful lot of money in December. So it's not true. But whatever your thoughts are around bringing in clients, starting your business, making money, just bring awareness to what they are right now. It's not good, it's not bad, it's not anything. Just bring awareness to it. And then accept what's coming up for you. So if they're negative, so if they're of no benefit to you whatsoever, accept that that's the case, right? Because acceptance is always the hardest part. We're happy to bring awareness to something, but then we want it to just go away. We don't actually want to have to deal with it. But you've got to accept what's not working for you so that you can choose to let it go, because it is very much a choice. You're going to have to choose to let it go. So awareness of what's working for you and what's not working for you. Accept what's not working for you and accept what is working for you, because when something is working for you, you want to make sure that you're continuing to repeat that, right? And then you've got to take action on it. So if something isn't working for you, like your thoughts say around bringing in clients, making money, you've got to be willing to accept that they're not working for you and then take different actions. So change your course of action so that it will work for you. And it could be mindset work. Like, it doesn't matter what business you're in. I say this to my clients all the time, any strategy will work once you have the right mindset for it. So like, your attitude around this is going to really, really matter. Like, we all know people that have like a real sucky attitude and like they drain the life out of you, being around them. And you've got to be very aware of what your attitude is towards your business, towards what it is that you're doing, towards your own ability to do this. Because if you don't believe that you can do it, you're not going to do it. So make sure that you're committed to being right about stuff that works for you, not stuff that doesn't work for you. So simplicity and consistency is literally the key for this. So I want to really drum that home with you. Simplicity and consistency. So I already briefly said about the volume and noise that's out there. Where most people go wrong at the start is they start focusing on building websites and will focus on all these fancy funnels, download bucket loads of freebies, and then they don't know where to go with it because it's a lot of information. And I did not use funnels at the start because I didn't need them. I started my business on my phone. I didn't even have a laptop. My first 4 clients were served on my phone. I didn't have a laptop. So don't add on things that you don't need just because you think you need to have them. Like this idea of things needing to be perfect, look a certain way. At the start, really does not matter, because what you want to do is you want to be able to build up a catalog of clients so that you can then build your momentum and go on to build bigger, more amazing things. But you've got to start with where you're at. So just keep that in mind. You've got to start with where you're at. So simplicity and consistency is super, super, super important. So as we're going through this, ask yourself, what are you willing to let go of? So if you've been this person that has been downloading like multiple freebies, are they really supportive for you, or are they just creating more confusion for you? The same way that if you have like lots of different funnels, or maybe you've created lots of different freebies, but nothing's really landing, and you're not actually generating any traction whatsoever, like as in you're not taking on any clients, then ask yourself, what do I need to let go of? Do I really need to do that? And why am I doing it? And a lot of the times we do it because we think we have to, rather than actually asking the question, is it what I need right now? So I want to tell you, if you are brand new to business, or if you have not signed any coaching clients yet, you don't need all that stuff. Still 3 years in, I don't really use my website. It's there, but I don't really use it because I engage with people through masterclasses, through workshops, through live events. That's more how I do it. And we want to be able to build up the know, like, and trust factor with people. And your website is not going to do that. This is going to do it. And having communication with people, and voice messaging people, hopping on calls with people, and being face to face with people. That's what's going to bring in the good stuff, not your website. So you can let go of that. So any doubts that come up as we're going through this, like, I'm going to give you the 3 points now of what you can do to bring in 3 clients in 30 days. But as we're going through this, I want you to continually ask yourself how you feel about it, right? And the reason why I'm saying this to you is because most times we operate based off our feelings, and they're never good decisions to make, right? Particularly for business, because obviously we're human beings, right? And we have emotions, but we don't want our emotions to drive our decisions. We want to make sure we're focused on where we're going. So your focus right now, because you're on here with me, is to sign 3 clients in 30 days. That is your focus. So whatever feelings come up as we're going through this, recognize them. So bring awareness to them, accept that they're there, and then be willing to let them go and take action beyond what you currently feel. Because if you don't, you're going to stay where you are. Like, it's no coincidence that some people see incredible results and others see mediocre results or no results for taking the same action. And it's all to do with, well, what action are you actually taking based on your emotions? So we never want to be driven by that. Okay, so let's go into these 3 simple steps. And I mean, they're super, super simple. But the first one is the one where everybody gets stuck, right? I mean, absolutely everybody. So commit to yourself right now that you are going to bring awareness, accept it, and then take action. So the very first one is your niche, right? So who do you serve? So specifically, who do you serve? And specifically, what results do you get them? So take me, right? I serve female coaches and holistic therapists at the beginning of their business, right? To get them their first 3 to 5 clients. Done. Couldn't be any simpler. So what do you do, right? I've yet to meet somebody that comes to me and they're like, I know specifically who I serve and what I serve them with. It's always really broad, right? So, as in like, I want to serve women with, getting a healthy lifestyle. It's really difficult to market that at the very, very start. Can you change that as you get bigger? 100% you can. But at the start, you've got to be very specific and be able to create very tangible results for people. So you want to niche it down as much as you can. And a lot of people just don't want to. They are not willing to make a decision. So imagine if you're not willing to make the decision at this part of your business, how difficult are other decisions going to be as you move along? Because actually, this decision is one of the simplest ones that you're going to make, because it's just a decision. It's not a lifelong sentence. You can change it at any stage. I did. I started off serving women in the corporate world at middle management level who wanted to figure out what their passion and purpose was in life. That's where I started. And in that, what I found was I was teaching every single solitary person business, every single solitary one of them. So it made sense for me to transition into it because I love business. I am the sales queen, let me tell you. I love teaching sales, and I love teaching the psychology behind sales. I love teaching like all the different buyer styles, and I get super excited when I see my clients getting results, because you get to go, woohoo, we're all in this together, right? So what specific results are your clients going to get, and who specifically do you support? So let me give you some examples of like some of my clients, right? Because some of these are very, very, very niche down, which is amazing. And that's what you want. So I've got one therapist who supports school-going children with autism. Very specific, right? Very, very specific. I have another lady who's 70 years old, by the way, 70, and she supports women in their 60s after divorce to heal their mindset after coming out of an abusive relationship. Very specific, like very, very, very specific. I have another lady who supports corporate mums at middle management level who have toddlers to de-stress after work so they could be present with their family when they're at home. So they're very specific, very, very specific. So make sure that you're getting as specific as you can and very specific with the results that you can get them. Now, a question that I always get asked. So if it's in your mind, know that you're in a good place, because I always get asked this question is, how do I know what my niche is and how do I pick them? So I've had this conversation so many times over the last little while, because we don't want to make a decision because we're like, we can help everybody. So how you know is, the reason you are either in your business doing what you're doing or you're going to start your business to do what you do is because you've gone through this yourself. So our clients are a version of who we used to be. So for me, my clients are those that want to sign their first 3 to 5 clients. I was there, I've done it, I know exactly how to do it, so I can teach it over and over and over again. So who specifically do you support, and what specifically do you support them with? So what tangible results are you going to get them? And think about the version of the person that you used to be. And one thing I don't want you to get caught up in is, well, I'm not there yet, I'm not perfect, I don't have everything figured out. You're not meant to. There is no it. We are never final, we are never done, or we're constantly growing, constantly evolving, constantly changing. Like every experience you have in a day gives you a whole different piece of information, right? Like it could be a conversation you have with a neighbor, and you're now different what you were before you had the conversation with them because you have more information. So just keep that in mind. We're never done. It's never an it. We're constantly growing and evolving. And we are able to support our clients with getting them to whatever result it is that you have based on the transformation that we've already gone through. So remember that there's no it, you're never done, but it is normally a version of who you used to be. And this is where vulnerability comes into it too. So remember I was saying to you, to really allow yourself to bring awareness to whatever thoughts are coming up for you. And if you're anything like the person that I used to be, so I would have been very controlled in my approach, and everything was like, I'm going to say even toned, as in like, I would only ever show you certain things and I would keep certain things back. And I think they'd be super well hidden, but they would not be. I had to become comfortable being vulnerable and sharing what wasn't working as well as what was working, so that people could relate to it. So whatever thoughts are coming up for you, just bring awareness to them and then ask yourself, am I willing to let them go? Give yourself permission to succeed. Like, give yourself permission to succeed. Allow the success to happen for you. Just allow it to happen. So the first one is specifically, who do you serve and what results are they going to get by working with you? If you don't know, so if you haven't had any clients yet, you will know based on the results that you've got yourself. So the one thing that I always say is, because I do see this happening every now and again, is that somebody will pick a niche based on the fact that they think it will make them the most money, but they have no experience of that niche. Don't do that, because you're not operating from a place of integrity then, which means that what you deliver is less likely to get results, but you're also going to really struggle to sell it because you haven't actually gone through it yourself. So you want to be living and breathing what it is that you're selling. So just keep that in mind too. So the second one then is, and this is the one that it always generates results. So I'm going to say that again. It always generates results. So don't say no to this, and bring awareness up to it if it's coming for you. I want you to make a list, right? Once you know who it is specifically that you're going to serve, and what specifically you're going to serve them with, like as in what results they're going to get, I want you to make a list of every person in your network that you know that fits into that bracket. Now, when I say your network, I literally mean people on LinkedIn, people on Facebook, people in your phone book, your neighbors, your work colleagues, like every person that fits into that category. Every single solitary person that fits into that category, because your network is your net worth. And at the very beginning, you would be surprised at how many people around you actually need the support of your services. And because we're building up the know, like, and trust factor at the very, very start of our businesses, who knows you and trusts you? The people in your network, right? The people in your network. Now, again, what's coming up for you when I say to do this? Is it a case of, oh my God, I'd be mortified, I can't do that? What am I going to say to them? They're never going to buy from me. Like, whatever's coming up for you, let it come up so that it can come out, right? Because whatever we keep in here ends up moving down into our body, and then it's a whole other mess that gets created, because then we get stressed, and anxiety can come in, and we don't want any of that. So you need to be able to learn to release it, like brain dump, as I say. Brain dump all the thoughts out of your head, get them out, whatever's coming up for you. And I want to share with you how I got my very first ever client, because it was from this. This is how I know it works. And it has worked for all of my clients too. So I was in a hotel meeting somebody for lunch, an old colleague of mine was meeting her for lunch, and I bumped into other old colleagues, right? Having a conversation with them. And as you do, what are you up to now? told them what I was up to now, told them that I'd started my own coaching business and I was helping corporate women figure out what they wanted to do, corporate women to figure out what they wanted to do. And this lady went, oh my goodness, you and I need to have a conversation. I need this. She called me. So she booked a call with me 2 days later, was a full on yes and a pay in full. Like what? I had gone from like trying to figure out how on earth I was going to get clients to somebody that I knew quite well wanted to come and work with me based on me telling them what I did. So this is why you want to go through your network, because when you make out the list, I want you to actually pick up the phone and call them. And for a lot of people, you might go, oh God, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, you are, because it will benefit you massively. The point of the phone calls is not to get, right? So you're not going with the intention of getting a sale, but you've got to get into the practice of sharing with people what you do. Because again, your network is so important. Like it is so, so, so important. The person that you have and that you're going to be talking to on the other end of the phone potentially could be a client. But as well as that, they potentially might know people that would be perfect clients for you. So if you don't start speaking out what it is that you're doing and start telling everybody consistently what you do and getting really visible out there, how are you ever going to generate clients? You're not. I generated, I think, my first 8 clients doing it that way. It was my first 8 clients doing it that way. So just know that you have clients at your fingertips, but you've got to be willing to actually pick up the phone and make phone calls. So what do you talk about when you're on the phone? Well, first of all, it's all about connection and relationship building, because this is what sales is. Sales doesn't actually start on a sales call. Sales starts way before that, like way before that. So the moment you make a connection with somebody, that's when the sales are starting. And I'm not talking about going into a sales conversation at all, but I'm talking about that's where the sales start, because you're building the relationships. Sales are relationships. It's that I want to get into a relationship with you and you want to get into a relationship with me. Why? Because you have a need and I can help you with that. So it's purely a relationship, right? It's like if you're going to get your hair cut. You're building up a relationship with your hairdresser. We all, as women, let's be honest, we all have our hairdressers and nobody else can do our hair the same way our hairdressers do. And we get very upset when our hairdressers are gone. Why? Because we've got into a relationship with them. So this is what you're doing. You're building up the relationship before you actually get to be like a client coach point of view. So when you're on the phone with them, you're connecting with them. So how would you normally have a conversation with them? You want to know what they're up to, what they're doing, and then share with them what you're doing. And of course, questions are going to get asked then, and answer the questions. And if an opportunity is presented to go, oh God, I'd love to hear more about that, share it. Share it. And then ask people, do they know of anyone who would need these services? Who needs that support? And would they mind connecting you? It's very rare people will say no. Very rare. So make sure that you are absolutely optimizing your network. Remember, your focus is not to sell, your focus is to build relationships. But do not let that opportunity pass you by. I'm telling you now, it is the one biggest mistake that I see people making over and over again, is to not network. It is incredible. It's so important to be able to do it. Okay, so the first one is, so step 1 is that you need to be very specific about who it is that you serve and what results they specifically are going to get working with you. Number 2 is to make a list of everybody in your network that fits into your niche, so your ideal client category, and call them. Call every single solitary one of them, and if they don't answer, pick up the phone and call them again. Remember, relationships, how we do one thing in our lives is how we do all things in our lives. So if this is something that feels super awkward or uncomfortable for you, know that that's okay, but it's going to show up in other parts of your life too, do you know? So if relationship building is something that isn't easy for you, you nail this down. Imagine what the changes it will have in the rest of the relationships in your life. Like, it's incredible how this stuff trickles. It's very exciting. I love this stuff. Okay, so the third one is, please do not worry about websites and funnels and all the other fancy things, right? What you need to do is get yourself visible, like get yourself super, super visible. Your ideal clients will not, and I really mean this, are not on every single solitary platform. They are just not. You've got to go to where they're at, which is why you go to your network first and you keep following up and following up and following up. But then you've got to know exactly where your ideal clients hang out. So if, for example, you deal with corporate people, LinkedIn is just the most obvious place to go to, right? On there, you want to be sharing daily how people can work with you, what results they can get, and ways that you can support them. So I'm not talking about like something looking the exact same way every single solitary day, but like one day you might share how people can work with you. The next day you might share why people can work with you. The day after that you might share what results they can get, how they can get these results. But you have got to be visible. If you're going to hold back and be shy, you're going to struggle. So remember, awareness, acceptance, action. Take the action anyway. And remember, everybody started at some point. Every single solitary successful person started at some point. I was super shy. A lot of people are shocked when I say that, but I was super shy. And by doing this consistently, I overcame it, but only because I did it consistently. I was in San Diego in April and I stood up and spoke in front of a room of 250 people. I would never have done that before. I would have thrown up, but I would never have done that. You would have found me in the bathroom crying, trying to think of every reason I could to get out of it. Like, how could, like, am I feeling sick? Is that a way to get out of it? Like, you know, all the excuses I would think of so that I wouldn't have to do it. So know that things change, things get better, things get easier, but you've got to start. Sitting back and waiting is going to lead to absolutely nothing. You're going to stay very stuck and stay exactly where you are. You can 100% generate 3 clients in 30 days, but you've got to put the work in. You've got to really put the work in and put the work into the stuff that generates the results, not the stuff that doesn't, in the grand scheme of things, matter. So what am I saying doesn't matter at the very start? Websites. Now I'm talking about specifically here for coaches and holistic therapists. Websites. At the very beginning, you do not need that. Funnels, you do not need that. What you need is a way for people to be able to book a call with you. But you can even do that through direct messages. It does not have to be like an actual call link. And have your payment method set up. That is it. Keep it simple, 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 simple. Just keep in mind as well, it can take someone anywhere from 7 to 21 times of being in like some sort of contact with you before they'll decide if they want to buy from you. So if somebody is not a yes the first time, that doesn't mean that they're never going to be a yes. The same way, if somebody doesn't even like engage with what you're doing, doesn't mean that they won't. I had one client that came to everything I did for 18 months before she bought. That's not that unusual because everybody has different buying styles, which is why I love teaching the psychology behind sales, because everybody has different buying styles. And when you know that and when you understand that, it can make it easier for you. But the 3 things that you got to focus on now to be able to generate clients quickly, so 3 clients in 30 days, is get very, very specific about who it is that you serve and what results they get from working with you. So let me give you the example for me again. I work with new coaches and holistic therapists who want to sign their first 3 to 5 clients. Done. Who do you support and what are the results you get them? Number 2 is make it a list of everybody in your network that fits into that ideal client category, and then pick up the phone and call them. Literally call them. Get in relationship with them, connect with them, love on them, support them, like be there, be present with them, be visible with them. And then the 3rd one is don't focus on all the things that don't matter. Get super visible. So share consistently how people can work with you, what you support them with, why they should come to work with you, and also share who it's not for. Like who it's not for. Because sometimes people need to go, okay, they need to like nearly tick off the boxes themselves, go, no, that's not me, that's not me, that's not me. And yes, this is me, this is me, this is me. So who this is for and who it's not for. And do this consistently. And make sure that you have call to actions to invite people to come work with you. Because if you don't, they're not going to know and they're not going to come and work with you. I had a friend of mine, it's gone back 3 years now, I think, and she was in a product-based business. And it was just, one of those ones where you're like, "Oh my goodness, that's so obvious. I never thought to do that," right? This was a situation for her. She product-based businesses, and she was selling, but her sales were quite low, and she was getting really, really frustrated. And it was put to her, "Have you actually told people how they can buy the products from you?" She hadn't. She had not. Now, she had the products listed up on her page. Yes. And she talked about the products, but she never actually told anybody how they could buy them. So think about that for you, for your services. Have you actually told anybody how they can buy your service from you, how they can connect with you? How do they reach out to you so that they could even book a call with you? If you haven't told them that, they're not going to know. They're just not going to know. So they're the 3 steps that you get to follow through on, and that I know work because they worked for me and they work for my clients. So if you want to get your 3 clients in 30 days, follow these steps and do them. And remember the 3 A's. What do you need to bring awareness to of what's not working for you? You get to then accept that they don't work, and then take action on what does. So there's certain things that you're going to have to let go of. And then there's other things that you get to give yourself permission to do, permission to be amazing, permission to see success. Just give yourself permission, right? Just say, yeah, I absolutely am meant to have this success. I am absolutely meant for more. 100%. So follow those 3 things and let me know how you get on with signing your clients. I love this, and I'm always really excited to see the results that people get. I love after delivering a masterclass when I get like a DM, or I get a voice message from somebody to say, "Oh my goodness, I'm after getting my first client." This happened actually in one of my masterclasses there not that long ago, where she's like, "I got my first client, my first ever pay in full client." She was so excited, and just from doing a masterclass like this. So implement the steps. Don't have this be another freebie that you don't do anything with. Actually implement the steps. And for anybody that wants to take it that step further, I would love to be able to support you in making sure that you get your 5 clients and beyond, like, and beyond, so that you can have that consistent income coming in. So I am opening up 5 spaces to be able to work with me in January. I'm going to do it one-on-one. So I'm going to drop the link when I come off this live. I'm going to put it underneath it for you to be able to book a call. So I'm looking for 5 coaches or holistic therapists who want to sign their first 3 to 5 clients. And we're going to be starting in January. So I'm going to put the link there. On the call, I want to have a chat to you about what your goals are and what you've done so far that has worked and what hasn't worked. Or if you haven't done anything at all, what stopped you from not doing it, so that I can support you and see what other things I have there to be able to support you with. So thank you for being on here with me today. And like I said, I'm dying to hear how you get on with all of this and what comes out of it for you. Go and get yourself some clients. Go sign your clients. I'll talk to you soon.